Hello, this is composer Randall Standridge, and the question is, what is the job of a composer? Well, I think that answer is going to vary a little bit from composer to composer, so I can only speak to myself, but here's what I have as a few thoughts. My first and foremost goal as a composer and my job is to express my viewpoint and my aesthetic interests about music through the art that I create. Sometimes it can take on the form of something that reflects my personality, such as humor. Some of you might be familiar with the Santa the Barbarian series, or another more advanced piece that I've written called animation. Sometimes it can reflect things that are important to me in my life, or stories that I want to tell, such as my Unbroken project, which is about mental health. Or sometimes it gets into the world of the fantastical with stories that I make up and create myself, such as my Darkland series. But all of these reflect various interests and parts of my aspect. And I think for most composers, the first and most important job is to have a viewpoint, have an ability to take ideas that you have, and sometimes it may not even be a story, just, these pretty chords and these pretty melodies, and then express those into the world. So I think that is the first thing. The second job of a composer is to do what I like to call the craft of composing. Because it's one thing to have a good idea and to want to tell a story, but then you have to develop, cultivate, and improve on the skills necessary to take those ideas and put them into something that people can recognize and enjoy. For me, I primarily work in symphonic and concert music, so I spend a lot of time doing notation. So writing quarter notes, chords, eighth notes, things on staff paper, making parts. And, you can do that, but there's ways to do things to make them a little bit clearer and to make them a little bit more understandable. Because if you're writing for players and they can't really understand what your intent was, then that's a problem. So one of the things that I have to do in my job is to make sure that whatever my ideas are, they are notated and done in such a way that they are very clearly understandable and achievable by musicians such as yourself. Going beyond that, I think the other job of a composer for me is to also serve the needs of the community that I'm writing for. So in this case, that could be me writing a piece that might address a specific educational aspect, such as, I've written some pieces called the 16th Empire series, and these address learning to play 16th note rhythms in an achievable way. So, sometimes our job is to do that. It's to serve the community and serve the players that we are invested in. And lastly, sometimes I am commissioned or hired to write a piece for special occasions, or to write something for a particular group or a particular need that they have. And sometimes this can actually be the most challenging thing, because oftentimes I'm dealing with situations and groups that want things that would not necessarily be something that I would choose to write. Not that it's bad, but just it's something they want, something for an occasion that I would have never thought of. And so one of my jobs as a composer is to know how to create music and to express ideas that will serve not only my own ideas, but those of others as well. So that's what I think the job of a composer is. It's to delight, it's to create great music, it's to serve needs, and it's to be really, really good at the craft of composing. Now, what is my day like on a daily basis? I actually treat composing a little bit like what I would call a 9-to-5 job. I get up in the morning, I take care of my pets, I have breakfast, I watch a few cartoons, and then I start doing the job. Like, for instance, right now it is 9 o'clock a.m. and my first part of the job this morning was to answer email and to see if I have any updates to any projects that I'm working on. After I get done recording this, I'm going to start working on my project for the day. In this case, I am working on marching band shows for our upcoming catalog for next year. So I'm going to work on that for most of the day. I'm going to take a break in the middle of the day to go to the gym because, these muscles don't build themselves. And then I'm going to come back, I'm going to finish my work, and when it's done, it's time for me to play with my pets, it's time to play video games, it's time to, spend time with my family, and it's time to do something besides the job. So I typically work Monday through Friday and occasionally on the weekends, but mostly just during the week. My other part of the job that I do is sometimes I go out and I work with schools, I do guest conducting, I go to conferences, so I get to travel a little bit, but mostly I'm at home. So anyway, that's the, at least my job as a composer. Maybe not the most exciting thing in the world, but that's really what we do. We're people just like everybody else. We get up, we eat, we have lives, and during part of that life, we just happen to write music. Anyway, I hope you found this to be informative. Have a great, term, and peace, love, and music.